This is the Minnesota House meeting. I'm going to try and dub two videos into one. This is on the constitutional conceal and carry for Minnesota. I'm about to speak about some of the facts that I have. And then we're going to talk about the trying to get rid of the requirement in Minnesota to flee your home upon a break-in. You're required to flee if you can do so safely. That's what the meeting was about, to try and get rid of that. And then we're going to have a couple of the comments that the liberal Democrats made, so we have easy access to them. So I'll have both the full links and this available if it works out. I'm going to try and dub these videos.
Please abide by it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Committee. My name is Fred Gerster. I live in Burnsville, Minnesota. What I wanted to do today was discuss a few areas where people can look and find facts about such type things. One is the 2011 FBI Crime Table 1, which is the 20-year summary with 10 violent categories. It's done every year, every category for 20 years. Current levels would need to increase 200 to 300% in all 10 categories to reach the 1992 levels. That's how much crime has gone down. When we take a look at it state by state and where these things have gone down, it's the states that have done conceal and carry, castle doctrine, reasonable gun laws. We also need to look at a national reciprocity. If you can carry a gun in your home state, you should be able to go across state lines and not become a felon. If you take a plane trip and wind up diverted into New York City, Baltimore, D.C., Chicago, or California, you can become a criminal now because you've landed there without, in many cases, an unregistered long arm or short arm. I also have a chart in the information I'm going to leave that's homicide rates from 1985 to 2012. We're now at 100-year lows. And the reason, again, is because of the American gun owner. They stopped 2.4 million crimes a year. And even the Obama study of 2013 and the Florida study now concur that they do stop well over 2.4 million crimes a year. In addition, the 88,000 crimes per year they said the government claimed for many years was a gross error. I also want to say that in addition to the American gun owner helping, when we look at the homicide rates, and I also have that in here, it's also grossly increased because it includes 400 police shootings, 260 legal castle doctrine type shootings, and probably somewhere between 1,500 and 3,000 non-castle doctrines.
Okay, if you could wrap up. Thank you much, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, appreciate it. And folks, if I realize some of you disagree completely with what folks are saying on both sides, so but try to keep it to yourself and not approve or disapprove. Minutes.
I heard a comment that we're not a safe country. Would you direct everybody to take a look at the World Health Organization murder rates for the world? Starts at 98 and goes down to 2.2. We're at 4.2. We're at the bottom of the list. We're one of the safest countries in the world, and we have the most guns. Most of the countries that have higher rates than us are already disarmed. So I think that's a great piece of information to use and so forth. Also wanted to mention a few things that society is dangerous and we can't legislate perfection. And I talked about some of the murder rates and how they've gone down and the homicide rates and that the good guy shootings are in there. But we also have to remember, too, there's 4,000 deaths by feet and knives and clubs. There's 11,000 DWI deaths per year. There's 38,000 auto deaths per year. There's 10,000 kids under the age of 14 get killed on bicycles every year. There's 3,600, over 3,600 drowning deaths, 10 per day in the United States every year. 480,000, almost 500,000 from smoking in the United States. And 12,000 people per year in the United States just die from falling down. So we have to remember that in the states that have done castle doctrines and things like that, their significant crime dropped 60, 70, 80% in just a few years. And I think one of the ways that I explain people is, right now in Minnesota, you are required by law to flee your home if somebody breaks in. It's 25 below, you got bare feet, sleeping wear, you got about 30 seconds to get the dog, the kids, the wife, and get out the back window. And then you're going to be out there for about a minute, and you're going to realize that you just left your home, and what do you do now? And 2 in the morning, is your neighbor going to let you in?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Mr. Tim Spreck, followed by Mr. Joseph from Protect Minnesota.
I'm going to
Mr.
jump
Spreck,
ahead a little
introduce
bit.
yourself and be.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm correct that you are the author, Mr. Chair, of the current Castle Doctrine bill?
Well, there is no current Castle Doctrine bill. I'm not the author of it.
I'm sorry, I was wrong about that. But then the first testifier that came up, I believe he was incorrect, that current law does not require you to run out in 20 below zero, grab your children, and leave your premises when somebody breaks in your house. I believe at this point you are well within your rights to shoot that person. So I was hoping that you would correct it, but I thought you were also thought you were the author. Thank you.
That's what the meeting was about.
Representative Dean, followed by Representative Becker, Finn, Lucero, and Pinto.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'd like to express sort of my concern about some of the statements in some of the testimony. Dr. Lott came down and started putting forward all this racial stuff, which quite frankly, you know, there's a saying that Mark Twain said, there are lies, damn lies, and then there are statistics.
Just to confirm, the figure in the U.S. is way higher than, for example, any of the countries in Europe, except you really need to get pretty deep into the former Soviet Union before you get anywhere close to the homicide levels in the U.S. And as long as we're lifting up the World Health Organization, in that very same page they say one of the main drivers of homicide rates is access to guns. With approximately half of all homicides committed with a firearm. So I appreciate the reference to the World Health Organization. I think that they should lead the way. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we'll have Representative Nash close. Representative Nash, in your closing, could you let us know if all hell is broken loose in any of the states that have enacted the permitless carry, or if what's going on there in those?
Mr. Chair and members of the committee, thank you for a very spirited and good debate. Thank you for the opportunity to share issues that are important to me and members in my caucus. It is a great opportunity for us to have conversation. I believe firmly that self-defense is a human right. It doesn't know anything about color. It doesn't know anything about geography. We each have an individual right to defend ourselves. And that is a very important thing that we need to note. And that, for that reason, so we can clarify the rules of engagement here in the state of Minnesota. That is why we have this bill. And with that, I thank you.
All right, took us 5 years or so to pass the permit to carry, and we'll work on this one until we get her done. Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned, and the bill will be held over for possible implementation.